So hi, Long Noise Podcast. I'm Shane.
I'm Glory.
It's a Throwback Wednesday. A Throwback Thursday recorded on a Wednesday, posted a Monday several weeks from the Wednesday the Throwback Thursday is being recorded.
Yeah, it's like a good bit away. Yeah.
I couldn't tell you when, but
Pretty Odd just went out. If that helps you put like any perspective, the Pretty Odd review just got posted.
Yeah.
So
yeah. There you go. Look at that. You know, I got no pun for this album. I was hoping to like keep that going for the Panic! At the Disco thing, but The Bachelor's dead.
I mean, as you could see, we've gotten this far through the discography, so you could say we're pretty victorious as is. And these are only our golden days of the podcast. So let's The Bachelor's dead. I toss that in there.
Bachelor's dead.
Bachelor's dead. I don't know. Fuck.
Yeah. that was bad.
That was tough.
Yeah, it was really bad. We took a couple days off from recording these and totally lost our flow.
We lost the spark.
Yeah. Lost the flow, lost the spark.
Gone.
Lost the Midas touch, with the gold. Golden days. If you couldn't tell, today we're chatting about Panic! At the Disco and their 2016 record, Death of a Bachelor. The last good Panic! At the Disco record. Spoiler alert, maybe.
Maybe. I don't know. I'm gonna revisit it with an open mind.
Yeah.
With an open mind. I'm actually going to try. I'm gonna be like, okay, preconceived, ideas, feelings, emotions.
Yeah.
We'll see.
I'm gonna do the same thing on my drive to work today. I will be taking that record in for the first time in a hot minute, but today we're chatting about Death of a Bachelor. I'll let you kick it off because you've been talking. This is going to be your sappy moment, so I'll let you take this one.
So this album was my official introduction to Panic! At the Disco. I remember I was scrolling on YouTube and I was looking for a fucking One Direction video to watch again for the millionth time. Probably one thing. I loved that video. And I saw the Death of a Bachelor music video, and it was black and white, and it was his little face just looking all somber, and I went, what the fuck is that? He's kind of beautiful. So I clicked it and I watched, and I was like, holy fuck, his voice is crazy. What is this? So then from there I watched I didn't watch Emperor's New Clothes for a minute because I was like, oh my god, that looks scary. But I watched Victorious, I watched Don't Threaten Me with a Good Time, and I tried to watch LA Devotee, and I was like, oh, this is scary, and then I didn't watch it. I was 12 years old, by the way.
Yeah.
So
checks out.
So whether that makes it good or better or worse. So yeah, this was my album. This was the album that I had on repeat for fucking months. Like, this was the only type of music that I consumed. I completely did a 180. I wasn't listening to One Direction anymore. I was like, fuck, Panic! At the Disco, this is crazy. I felt very special. I felt very unique because I was like, yeah, I don't listen to fucking One Direction anymore.
I don't listen to pop music. I listen to emo.
Panic! At the Disco. Yeah, I listen to emo. This is an emo record. This is a metal record. It was not. It is not. It will never be. So this is my silly record, and this is the reason why I'm here today. If I didn't fucking click on that little somber face that I saw on my YouTube feed, we wouldn't be here today. So that's pretty cool to me. Big fan of this record. I think top to bottom, I think it's fucking immaculate. I only have one song that I'm not the biggest fan of, which is House of Memories. And even then, revisiting it, I do like it a lot more than I did before then. I just thought when I was younger, I was like, it just starts too fucking slow. It just feels like it never really, like, the song never, like, climaxes, even though it does, but it's just, it doesn't hit that mark for me. Still feel that way. But I think it's fine. I think it's just fine. It's like, I get that fucking reaction with everyone where they're like, oh, like, I just fucking, like, shot their fucking, like, fucking dad or something. It's like, dog, no, I just don't get it. I think it's fine. I think how it opens is incredible. Victorious is a great, high energy, catchy ass song. Incredible placement. Fuck yeah, Victorious. I couldn't put it anywhere else on the record. Don't Threaten Me with a Good Time. Again, catchy. I feel like with this record, they really balanced rock and pop elements,
Mhm.
where kind of with uh Too Rare to Live, Too Rare to Die, they were definitely leaning a lot more on kind of like that hazy pop, which
Mhm.
is fine and was very catchy. But this one, it definitely feels like they found the balance and they were like, oh shit, this is our sound, this is the record. And I do still believe that this is the Panic at the Disco record. This is their most refined sound that they've ever had. And then they kind of like,
Did
left
what they
that.
wanted to do.
They
Yeah.
said, "All right, yeah, I know this sounds incredible and like everyone fucking loved this, but we're never gonna do that ever again. I hope you guys are okay with that." Which is a theme that we've been seeing with their records. So at
Yeah.
least you can see that they're still constantly evolving. They're still trying new things, new elements, new inspirations, and all that shit.
Mhm.
But Death of a Bachelor, I wish we could have lingered. I wish. Fuck, I wish we could have lingered in this sound for a minute. There are a lot of different elements on here aside from like rock and pop. They definitely have the jazz elements of Death of a Bachelor, where I know when I was really into Panic at the Disco, I was watching all of the interviews and all the reviews and everything. And I remember Brendan specifically said that when he was writing Death of a Bachelor, he wanted to mimic Frank Sinatra and kind of have it as an ode to him because that's his biggest influence in music. You could definitely pick that up. It is kind of that sultry, it has a big crescendo. It's like, it is a big song and it's a big moment in the album as well, even though it does stand out like a fucking sore thumb because it's surrounded by Emperor's New Clothes and Crazy Equals Genius. So it's surrounded by two very upbeat, leaning more on the pop rock side of the record. So it just fucking sticks out. But in my opinion, it is a very important part of the record, and it definitely demonstrates Brendan's range. I think it's fucking great, and it shows how diverse the band can actually get with their sound. This record is so fucking good. Dick Rider, Dick Rider. Okay, Hallelujah is incredible. Again, they really have the catchy shit down with this record. They understand how to write a fucking chorus, a bridge. They got that shit down. Incredible song, one of my favorites. Emperor's New Clothes, again, incredible. The music video is fucking crazy. It is also connected to the music video for This Is Gospel, and I believe also Hallelujah, possibly,
I
if I'm
didn't know there was a
misremembering. I
cinematic
don't fucking know.
universe.
There is actually. No, it's three or four, because I'm pretty sure it's This Is Gospel, because that's when he dies, and then he goes through the gates of hell. Yeah, Emperor's New Clothes, and then I'm pretty sure it's Hallelujah, because in that it's like the gates open or whatever. So I don't fucking know. There's something going on there. I fuck with it heavy. Death of a Bachelor already covered that one. Crazy Equals Genius is fucking underrated. That shit was one of my favorites. I think it is so upbeat. To me, it kind of reminds me of Hip to Be Scared by Ice Nine Kills, where it's kind of that Patrick Bateman ass feel, where it's just like, you're really put together and you should be a little crazy when it's like he actually is a fucking psychopath. So obviously, sonically, not at all, but just kind of two different approaches to a similar character in my head. Uh, LA Devotee is fucking awesome. It's an ass shaker, and it is, again, one of my favorite songs off the record. Golden Days is my favorite song off the record. Shout out Golden Days. I think his vocals sound the best on that song. I love how big it gets, and how reminiscent it is. And God, it makes me nostalgic for like a life I haven't even lived yet. It's just incredible. I love it so much. The good and bad, the good, the bad, and the dirty, I think is a nice sassy little moment on the record. Definitely an underrated song. I feel like no one talks about it, even though it's so damn catchy. House of Memories, as I said, one of the lower points of the record for me. I still enjoy it, but I don't know. I think it's just a little slower for me. Even when it gets big, it's still just too slow compared to the remainder of the record. And then placing it right next to Impossible Year, a sad little song, it just kind of irks. There goes the record. Okay, that's it. Impossible Year has a job though as the closer to, okay, it's a closer, I accept it's going to be slow, but having House of Memories immediately before that, it just throws me off completely. It's too slow, too back to back. I don't know, it loses the momentum for me. But really fucking like this record. Means a lot to me. I did listen to it a couple times before the review, but just looking at the track listing, I could tell you fucking everything about every song. And I could fucking sing. I was singing along to all the songs off first listen, and I was like, fuck. I do remember all of this, and that's great. So Big fan of Death of a Bachelor. Great album.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Yeah. Glory's gonna sit. Glory almost said she didn't have to listen to it when she texted me when I sent her the Zoom link, and she was like, let me finish this song. And of course she was listening to a song off of Death of the Bachelor.
Golden Days. It was Golden Days.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a valid reason to show up a couple minutes late. But yeah, I'm a huge fan of this record. It's been a minute since I checked it out, but I was the same way as you. I gave it a spin, and it was like immediately I was like, God damn, I'm singing along to all the words on all the songs because they're that fucking good. You know, the track run on this record is almost perfect. Like there is no like gaps of songs where I'm like, these four are good and then this one is bad and then ba 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 ba. Like even the placement of, like you said, Death of a Bachelor being placed in between two of the bigger songs on the record, you know, has the impact that the song could have on the flow of the album, you know, be less than if they did that and then they put Impossible Year next to it, and then it just let it fall flat.
It would just, that would have been the death of the album. For real, for
Death
real.
of a Bachelor, for real.
For real, for real.
You know, and to me, I've never, you know, obviously that song is on the slower side, but it is never like crawled for me. Like it's a slow track that continues to move, and you know, there's the keys on it as well that I've always found to be super intriguing. The keys that almost they're not organ keys, but they kind of sound like it when the during like the key solo.
Yeah.
I'm like, damn, that almost sounds like an organ, but I know it's not. Yeah, it's not. It's not even close to an organ, but it sounds like it. Yeah, the way it opens with Victorious is just the definition of a massive opener. Like
this is that fucking album, yes, by the way, just so you know.
The crowd opening it up, and then the big explosion with his, you know, signature high notes to kick off the record really sets the tone. So funny. It really sets the tone for this album. Always been a fan of that track. Don't Threaten Me with a Good Time is a fantastic way to follow it up along, you know, with Hallelujah and Emperor's New Clothes, which is one of my personal favorites off the record. I watched the music video. I was maybe a couple years older than you, but when I found this record, but I'm a fucking pussy. I'm afraid of scary shit, and this music video, I watched it. I put my big boy panties on. I fucking watched it. It's not that scary. It's just
I know that now.
Yeah.
Trust. It's okay.
I recently bought a pop figure from of him from that music video. It looks perfect next to my Jonathan Davis pop figure. Those are the only two I have.
A little collection.
Really, the only two I need. But yeah,
friends.
Yeah, always been a big fan of that track. As I said, Death of a Bachelor I've always found intriguing. Crazy Equals Genius is a great way to get the album back on its feet. But my favorites have got to be Golden Days, The Good, the Bad, and the Dirty, and House of Memories. And for me, because we know how I am about super duper slow songs, and like, yes, you've got two on this record, with Death of a Bachelor being on the slower side and then Impossible Year being the definition of a slow track. The album has always kind of just ended for me on House of Memories, because I don't want to listen to Impossible Year. There's literally no offense to that song at all. I would just rather it end on House of Memories. And I do feel like that song kind of has closer energy.
House of Memories. Okay.
Yeah, because, you know, the way it fades out, it kind of feels like it's the unofficial end of the record, because Impossible Year absolutely feels like a closer and it is a send off to the record. But I feel like, you know, I've listened to this album so many times the Shane way that maybe I've just programmed my brain to be like, House of Memories is a closer, because it does kind of trail off and feel like a closer at the end.
It could
there.
Work, yeah.
And even,
no, I'm not mad at that.
Even like the the la la la's and all that shit, like all of the extra vocal work, all feel like closer energy in the way it builds up at the end. I've always kind of envisioned the song in my head for some reason as like the crescendo of like a party, hence why I kind of see it as the closer. I don't typically envision things like that in my brain. I don't know why this song does that to me.
Yeah, what's going on?
But that's just that's what I'll say to justify my reasoning. So, you know, but as I said, no offense to Impossible Year. It's just if you've watched this podcast any length of time, you'll quickly understand that you know, slow tracks, especially as slow as a song like Impossible Year, are not for me. And if it's your first time tuning in, I'm wearing Emotionless and White Hoodie today, if that gives you any semblance of where I'm at with my music taste.
Car shirt right now means nothing.
Ciao.
That helps. Ciao.
But yeah, overall, this is like, you know, to me, there's two near perfect Panic albums, and this is the second one. We obviously already talked about the first one, A Fever You Can't Sweat Out, and I was very vocal in that review about my thoughts. But I feel similarly about this record, especially going back to it. You know, and that's nothing against the rest of the discography before this album. It is total offense to the stuff after this record.
For sure. Well,
we don't know yet.
We don't know yet.
I'm pretty confident, but we don't know yet.
I'm giving it a sixth chance. The first time, no. To be fair, we're gonna talk about it.
We're saying we're gonna give it a chance as if we haven't been slandering Pray for the Wicked this entire time, like the entire series. So it'll just be funny if we're both like,
honestly, it wasn't that bad. It aged pretty. Maybe we were a little too harsh. I know that shit ain't gonna happen with Viva Las Vengeance though. That shit, hot ass. I'm so excited to revisit that.
It ain't bad. But yeah, this is one of those near perfect records for me. You know, one of the ones I found early on. I think for me it was kind of A Fever You Can't Sweat Out with I Write Sins and Not Tragedies, because obviously I heard that song on the radio, and then going into this record because it was also at the time the newest album. You know, it was 2016 2017 when I found the band, so this was the record at the time.
Yeah.
So yeah, a special place in my heart for this one as well. Big fan, enjoy it very much.
Big fan.
As I said, some of my favorites are Emperor's New Clothes, Golden Days, The Good, the Bad, and the Dirty, House of Memories, but I could honestly name everything except Impossible Year as favorites off this album, but I'll spare you on that.
Okay. That's I get it. I did not realize that House of Memories was the biggest track off the record, but I think that's only because there was a TikTok trend recently.
There was a TikTok trend. Okay. And then remember the most recent release was the sped up and slow down versions of House of Memories because it went viral on TikTok. Yeah.
That's so crazy to me. That was the last ever Panic. That's so sad. So it's so questionable, that band. My favorites, Golden Days, Death of a Bachelor. Oh, this is like pulling teeth for me. Golden Days, Death of a Bachelor, and I'll throw LA Devotee in there. Yeah. Nice. Yeah, fuck yeah. I fuck heavy with that song. Yeah, nice. Yeah. So those are my three.
Those are
but I can name the whole album. House of Memories included. Because I do think it is still a good song, just it doesn't get there fast enough for me. I don't know.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Well, those are our thoughts on Panic at Disco and the 2016 album Death of a Bachelor. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Let us know in the comments down below. Thanks. You know, our takes are only going to get hotter from here, so we'll see what goes on. As we've been saying this entire time, because we are so excited to talk about the last two Panic at Disco albums, we are chatting about the entire discography. So if you want to hear our thoughts on Pray for the Wicked or Viva Las Vengeance, subscribe, because those will be coming out over the next couple of weeks. Our thoughts on the rest of the discography are out already. You can follow us on Twitter. It's Good Noise _cast. Instagram's Good Noise Podcast. Facebook is Good Noise Pod. TikTok is Good Noise Podcast. YouTube, Good Noise Podcast. Audio streaming services, Good Noise Podcast. And Patreon is patreon.com/Good Noise Podcast. As I said, subscribe to us here on YouTube. It does help us out a ton. Your support helps us out big time. Stay tuned for more Panic at the Disco, and other bands. You know, we take suggestions. You know, we haven't figured out what we're doing next to kick off 2025. So if you got a suggestion of what we should chat about next, let us know. We are all ears. You know, as much as we like to dive into records we already know and bands we are already familiar with, the point of this series was to do a little bit of that and also discover things that we have been like, we should do that, but we haven't. And use this as an outlet to discover new bands. New bands for us go back to old releases because we are so focused on the current, present, what came out this week, just what comes with the territory. So always open to suggestions. Other than that, I have been Shane.
I have been Glory.
And we've been the Good Noise Podcast. See you next week. Bye.
Bye.